Marvel Snap sucks. All the streamers suck. Ben Brode sucks. Yeah, I'm feeling toxic today. I am kidding. I actually love the community. I came from League, so it's day and night with toxicity. You can trust me. But today, I am playing a toxic deck. This is actually the only deck I used going through Deadpool's Diner, and I had really good success on it. I didn't make it, but I did my journalistic duty and I tried to find who did. I looked at Sir Cosington's channel, KM Beast, and my snap father, Alex Kocha, but I ended up finding a very similar deck, if not the exact same deck with a card or two swapped out on TLSG's channel. So I'm gonna give him the credit for this deck, but if someone else made it, that's on me. That's my bad. But here's the list. Okay, let's get started. Ajax and Hazmat, you gotta have them. These are the must includes. Ajax is kind of like the Annihilus in junk decks for this kind of deck. So if you don't have them, I'm sorry, an alternative deck to try. If you like the toxic playstyle, could be High Evolutionary. But essentially, Hazmat drops every card in play by 1, and reducing them in power all gives Ajax +1. So the last turn, you can easily get him up to 20 plus power, and Ajax is an ongoing, so you can play Hazmat beforehand or retroactively. Well, that can win us one lane. How do we win the others? I've seen Athena and even Hitmonk variations of this deck, but I am in love with Werewolf by Night. You bounce him around with your on reveals like Nico, Rocket, and the Hood, and then you scoop him up with Beast and repeat. And I will note, the Silver Sable card that is coming out in a future spotlight probably can be slid into this deck. We also have Grandmaster to get huge value out of our Casanova and White Widow, which all of these are great beast targets as well. And then Viper feels amazing after her change. And look at the variant, like I got a player, but she can consistently send over Hood for like a 4-8 power shift. And then we have Shang-Chi for my last pick. I love Shang-Chi because we're able to drop him on turn 6 followed by Hazmat, which creates a huge swing in multiple lanes. I will say, make sure if you're hazmatting before the Shang-Chi, you're not dropping it below the 10 power. I've messed this up before. But yeah, this can get you a lot of big cube games, which I benefited greatly in the Diner. So let's get some card substitutions, since half the cards here are series 4 or 5. As I mentioned, Ajax feels like a staple in the way Annihilus does, but if you want to play this deck without him, maybe Luke Cage. For Nico, you could go Ham, Iceman, if you wanted to get really spicy Electra. For Cass or White Widow, I'd do Sage or Gladiator, even Green Goblin. And then for Grandmaster, I originally ran this deck with Falcon, which actually might be better in the deck, but I just have way too much fun with Grandmaster. But that is all. Let's hop into the Infinite Ladder to see how this deck performs like a week or two after I played it. Okay, we start the day off at rank 908, and I got my Toxic Electra icon on to suit. A lot of the gameplay in the video will be centered around Hazmat and Ajax because they're the stars of the show, but we don't draw either of them, and look how strong of a start this deck can still have. We absolutely whiff the Rocket, White Widow into the Human Torch lane, which is amazing for them to destroy because it's a Phoenix Force deck. We're able to scoop up all of our cards mid with Beast, and then we get a big cast out with Grandmaster. And what do you know? When they drop down that Phoenix Force, they pull the Widow's Bite, and I expect nothing less for them to retreat. But yeah, off topic for a sec, I do think the Phoenix Force deck would be one of the top played and top performing decks if White Widow wasn't one of the most popular 2-drop cards. But to drive this point forward that the deck doesn't even need Ajax and Hazmat to perform is look at this board and how big my Werewolf is and just how much power you can get without even the Toxic package being drawn. I think that's why I love this deck. I'd love to draw Ajax or Hazmat, but I don't need it. And then you might be asking, when would I rather have like Athena deck over the Werewolf package? It's when you get restrictive locations like this. And your wolf just isn't going to be able to bounce a lot. So consider that maybe if Prof X comes back into the meta. So this next game is a really good game. We have Baxter building, and right as I put down my hood, my Viper turns into a pig. So that feels amazing. They even send over a Widow's Kiss that I could also have used my Viper on. But we can move him away with the Grandmaster, and we now have 2 demons in hand. And I get the Ajax. We lay it down into Baxter's building, and then in the Baxter building they also have Iron Man, so this is going to be a heavily contested lane. So going into the last turn, here's what happens. And yeah, I just made a misplay. We win those if I play Demon left and then Hazmat on Limbo, but this deck has so many moving pieces and a lot going on. You can get lost in the sauce pretty quickly. Definitely one you have to practice with, and even if you do, like I have, I've played a ton of games with this deck and I still make dumb mistakes like this. But in attempts to bounce back, we go into the next game. We get our Widow out, and they have Ravonna and Nightcrawler, which means I'm thinking it's a Nomura deck. They fill the Raft out with Wong, which is nice because they can't Odin into the Wong lane, but they get that extra card, so it's a bit scary. And then going into the final turn, I don't really know what to expect, but it's absolutely wild. But hey, what wasn't that cool? Like, so much to interact with, so much going on, and that's why I love this deck. So the last game I'll show off is a game where we play into one of the best meta decks, Athena deck, and we predict the Raccoon because I guess I'm just the GOAT, and we drop it turn 2 cast Nova. We do put it on the far right here because I want my Grandmaster to be able to hit it again, and I don't want to accidentally hit Rocket with it. So they set up their Athena, I set up my Ajax, and we get our favorite way to end the game, Shang-Chi and Hazmat. I will say I quickly catch our order mistake because I think, well, I don't want my Shang-Chi hit by my Hazmat. But if you don't Chi first, Athena is 9 instead of 10. So we fix the order and we win the game with a 21 power Ajax. And yeah, this deck feels fairly consistent. I actually dropped maybe 100 or 200 ranks in the span of a couple hours recording this video for all transparency purposes, but it still feels good. I've played this deck for a long time. I've played it probably 100, 200 games at least this season, probably more since I only played it for the diner, and I think you'll really like it. If you like decks with a lot going on and room for making big plays, I think Ajax is worth it. I think it's worth picking these cards up. But thank you for watching. I hope you all have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.